welcome to pod number 4, season 7. Hey, Timmer, what's going on, buddy?
What's going on, Cloudy? How you doing today, buddy?
Good, dude. Good.
Trying to get me mid-drink on that one, eh, buddy? How you doing? You all right?
Good. We'll call that the spit test. That's my new goal, is trying to get you to,
I like it. I know.
As we start.
I like it.
That's what we're trying to do. Season 7, episode number 4 is here. I thought we'd start with the discussion on the convoy. Do you want to get there, or you want to come to that later?
We'll circle around. Circle back. Yeah.
Probably for the best. Actually, you know what? We should promote Convoy 2022 to your local brewery. That's what we should do.
Oh, I like that.
With Ontario reopening, step 79. I don't even know where we're at.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I was talking to Denny over at Red Barn. They're having their reopening again.
Yes, I saw that. Yes, many reads on that reopening. Grand opening, reopening.
Yeah, like we should. Let's make it a goal. Beer drinkers unite. Let's stand up for beer drinkers' rights, and let's make it a point to at least purchase a 6-pack this week from a local brewery.
So, buddy, you didn't really have to tag me that hard on that one. I'm in.
I'm not trying to sell it to you. I know you've already,
you've already surpassed everyone else. That's a good pitch, man. You had me sold.
Right? Like that seems like something we could do. And we've done a big push to support local restaurants and do our best to keep supporting them throughout this pandemic. But like let's make a point of getting to a brewery. And maybe you're not overly comfortable in sitting in the brewery yet, but like make it a point to get out, pop in, and grab a 6-pack and support them.
And if you are comfortable going to sit in the brewery, do it. Right? I think I saw Red Barn has Chad Olds there on.
Oh, do they?
Weekend. I think so. We'll have to fact check.
Here we go.
Fact check real early in this.
3 minutes in, and we already call him for a fact check.
Yeah, you know what? I forgot to fact check last week's fact check, so kind of upset with myself now. We had some, and I never got the answer to it.
So season 4 or season 7, episode 5 will be our fact check episode where we go back and double up and figure that one out. All right, let's start with our sponsors here tonight, Timmer, and those that we need to thank for being a part of the 3BeerPod.
Hey, buddy. If anyone's looking to buy or sell, even in these cold winter months, Chris McLeod over at Realty House, that guy moves houses faster than you could go to your local brewery and get a 6-pack.
Where you're going with
we'd probably get somebody to write these for us too. Also, if you're looking to, still looking to buff up for the spring, if you're looking to be rocking tank tops like Cloudy and I, talk to Shauna over at healthhouseck.com. It's working wonders for many people I know. I'm not familiar myself, but I am
heard good things.
For sure. I've heard great things, seen great things. Good stuff coming out of the Health House. Thanks to Shauna for her continued support. And again, our friends over at the Pakistan Super League, we always are looking to have them on, and nothing but goodwill towards our friends in Pakistan.
Yeah, they've yet to respond to any of our contact emails, but hey, we're working on it. What you drinking, bud, is usually where we start off, where we talk about what we're drinking, but we're not going to do that tonight because we're going to have a drink with a brewer here. And we're going to do it, but just not yet. I thought we could do a guest update. Okay, a couple of guests.
I thought you were going to say I couldn't have any beers tonight, and then
no, we're going to double up to it. We're going to have Third Moon Brewing on, and they're actually just logging on now as we speak. So we'll get them set in here, and then do our what you drinking, bud, with them. Guest update quickly. Our buddy Jeff Leeson, he wanted me to remind you that tickets are now on sale. We are sponsoring this event, the comedy show, which is coming May 14th. Now, they had to move that date. It would have been Friday, Tim. We would have been watching Mr. Leeson.
I know, man. Yeah. Kind of bummed about that. I see he's back on tour. I think he went back to the States or is heading back to the States doing a tour. He's going to be fired up for May 14th. You haven't got those tickets yet. Do it. That'd be great.
100%. So yeah, Jeff Leeson, former guest, 4 or 5-time guest on the pod. Funny dude. Get your tickets now. If you got tickets for that January show, and obviously it got postponed, they're good for Saturday, May 14th. If you can't come, get a hold of cktickets.com to double back and get your money back. Or now you're like, oh, bad, I'm like available now, May 14th. Well, get your tickets to see Jeff Leeson. Funny dude. And we're looking forward to that show in May. And what else do we have? Oh, guest from season 6 last year. Episode 12 was the big guy over at the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, Scott Crawford. Tomorrow's a big day with them, right?
yeah, looking forward to the announcements. Hopefully, we hear great news, buddy. Hopefully, the class of 2022 has someone being inducted that we've been pushing for. And
Yeah.
that's the Chatham Colored All Star. So hopefully, that's exciting news coming next week. Again, we have no insider information on any of these types of things. We're just saying, check it out. Hopefully, we hear good things. If not, we'll keep pushing for it, Cloudy.
If you want to double back and have a listen with Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame episode with season 6, episode 12, there's your past guest update. All right, Tim, it looks like our guys are ready here. Let's pull in Chris and Bebo from Third Moon. Let's pull them all in. We're going to have a whole big group chat here. Hey, guys, what's going on tonight?
Hey, guys.
Good. How are you doing?
Very good. Very good. So let's start with Chris. Where are you at right now? I'm trying to get a good look here.
I'm in Burlington, and I'm in my basement. Bebo and I just got home from a regular day at the office, the brewery, and we're home now. So we're in a comfortable place at home, enjoying the call, and excited to have a couple beers with you guys.
Yeah, I love this idea for sure. Cloudy, should we just get started here and talk about what beer? So you guys send us some beers, which is awesome. We always love when people send us beers. We have three to choose from. Which one do you guys think we should start with?
Let's start with the Kills Pills.
The Kills Pills.
We knew it.
Like it.
All right, let's pull it up. So usually we start off the podcast with what you drinking, bud, and we show up the 3 beers that we're going to drink throughout the podcast. Tonight a little different because we're going to taste and drink along with you guys as you tell us about the 3 beers over at Third Moon. Nice pour there, Chris. Good job. All right, so this is our first. First of all, so Bebo, you're the brewer, is that right?
Correct. Yes.
Correct. All right. So for Third Moon, how long have you guys been kicking around now? When did this all get rolling?
We opened in May of 2020, so about a month and just shy of 2 months into the first lockdown.
It's great.
So, yeah, it's impeccable timing, obviously. It's funny. When we first opened, so many people say, "Oh, you guys opened right in the middle of the pandemic," and now it's like, "Oh, you guys opened at the very beginning of the pandemic." So yes, we've been open for coming up on 2 years now. It's been a wild ride, obviously, with COVID and navigating that, and then moving from, boring office day jobs to opening a brewery and all the excitement and stress and everything along with that.
I can imagine. Well, let's not get like too much. Let's get into the beer first because we want to double back on what's going on there. Who wants to tell us about Kills Pills? Who's got it? Chris, you want to do that? Or Bebo, give us.
I'll take the lead on this. So Kills is a Czech style Pilsner. It's brewed with all Pilsner malt and hopped with all Saaz hops. It's our take on like a soft, easy, crushable lager. But it's still got a lot of like rich maltiness and some like spice from the hops. It's complex, but it's also like super smooth, super easy drinking. We don't do many lagers, but that's a style that I personally like to drink a lot of. So we like to have them around.
Tim, I'm going to say it right away after the first sip. That is crushable.
I was just going to say, I knew you were going to love when he said crushable because we're always looking for, sometimes you come across the beer like, that's delicious. It's not crushable. This is definitely crushable and in a palate that I'm enjoying.
Thank you. Well, this is that's exactly the idea. Is this beer is supposed to get you excited about drinking a lager, and all those aromatics. It's just it's such a fresh tasting beer, and you can just really tell this is made in a small batch. Lots of flavor, but as we say, even softer and more crushable than the standard style.
Yeah, it's always nice to have that. You guys, you mentioned that this was a change from the day job. What brings you into the brewery scene? How did you make that leap? Again, it's dreams that I did a batch of homebrew on the weekend. It's something you sit around and you're like, you know what, we should have a brewery. And then you wake up the next morning and be like, we're not opening a brewery. What were we thinking? We didn't even clean up our mess last night. So what gives you that jump from that day job into opening a brewery at a terrible time? But things are working out well.
We both have an interesting perspective on what made us individually make the jump, but we have been hanging out for years at that point, enjoying beers that we couldn't get here at home. And we would get them from wherever around the world, mostly from the US, bring them back, pay stupid amounts of money, and just talk about how amazing the flavors were and how well they were executed all night. And we morphed that eventually into a weekly meeting for the planning of this, which was about 5 years before we opened.
Wow.
So to then hit right at the start of a pandemic after 5 years of planning, it was crazy. But for me personally, I just felt like I was two people. I was doing my day job, and I was so excited to get back to beer. And so doing this for me was really becoming one person again and feeling like I was following my passion, which I used to do with music a little more. And then, you know, we all have to have our day job to pay our bills. And I loved my job and I loved the people I worked with, but everyone could tell that I was really passionate about beer. And people would ask, when are you going to do this? Bebo, what's your story?
I was home brewing for a long time. I've always been really into beer, and I kind of took the approach of I wanted to learn. You know, you'd read about different malts or hops and things like that. So I just wanted to learn more. So I started brewing, and it just really stuck. Like I really loved it. I loved the chemistry and the art and science and trying to replicate beers that I enjoyed. So I homebrewed for quite a while, and then you know, Chris and I got serious about actually doing this. You know, it just became like an outlet and, you know, a light at the end of the tunnel from our, you know, I was working in a bank and you know, there's no creative outlet working in a bank. So,
well, there can be, but it's a problem when it comes time to balance the books, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But Chris, what were you in? What was your line of work before? So you both jumped in full time. Is this 100% brewery now? Or is there still jobs on this side?
It is.
Really?
It had to be. There's just too much work, and you know, up until very recently, there was just 4 of us there doing all the work and wearing all the hats. So
Really?
I was working in telecom and IT, and yeah, just worked for some big companies, and to be honest, that's where I learned everything about running a business. Was working in finance and operations and marketing, a little bit of sales support, and you know, Bebo with the finance. We split the HR. He heads up the brewing side. We attack it from all ends, and so yeah, doing this is a very different job than I had before, and it was definitely weird at the start.
Yeah.
You know, spending the whole day working on the most random things, sometimes things that don't even feel like they're valuable, but they're essential for running a business. And at the start, when you're so lean like we are, you just do whatever needs to get done, and whoever's free to do it does it. So it's been a complete flip of my life, and we put in more hours doing this than we ever could have put in working for someone else.
I want to add, I hear one of the two, I hear some kids and they're running around. So obviously you guys are responsible adults. Who do you have to convince when you both have, you know, good jobs, and then you say, listen, we want to start a brewery? How does that conversation go over? Was that 5 years of trying to convince them, or was it they were on board the whole time, the significant others?
Bebo, you take it.
Yeah, my wife was more on board. She was on board before I even was totally on board. Same way, I believe, Tim, you were saying when you were homebrewing, you know, you start getting those thoughts. So I've been homebrewing and I won some awards and stuff. And it's always kind of that thing like, oh, you know, we should open a brewery. But, you know, there was never really a moment where it switched from like, oh, one day to like, this is actually really what we're actually going to do. It kind of just gradually became that. But yeah, my wife from the very beginning was always very supportive, and like any small business, like it's a constant drain on your time and energy. So she's paid more than her fair share of, you know, taking care of the kids, being the breadwinner when, you know, we were pumping all our money back into the business and not taking the salary. So
Yeah.
It takes a community.
And
Wild story.
and agreeing to do it in theory is one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
fair enough.
living it out is it's hard. It's been a hard 2 years trying to balance things. So we're looking forward to the next stage of the business. We've hired some people to help out. We believe that everyone should know how to do everything at the business as much as possible. There are things that only Bebo and I can do, obviously, as the business owners, but everyone can do every part of the business, and whichever door a customer comes in, we got you. And that's the kind of place that we're building. And so this next year for me, and I dare I say for Bebo too, is that we try to get a bit of balance back in our lives, so that we can be, better fathers and husbands, and just try to make our wives believe that we're keeping up our end of the deal, right?
Is that what Bebo's doing right now, being a good father? Is that he's
yeah. And it's it's not that fun, a lot of the stuff we have to do, but it's natural that your partner is going to think that, oh, you're just drinking beer all day.
Yeah.
Which we are, but we're drinking beer while we're working. So
Yeah,
that's
every
hilarious.
job's got its it's its parts that really suck, but you just
What you drinking, bud, is where we highlight the 3 beers we're drinking. Are we sipping these? Because I finished that already. Like,
I'll catch up.
We'll try the second one here, Cloudy. We don't have to chug them all. That's why you get an extra glass, buddy.
Okay. Sorry. All right. What do you guys want to go to next, guys?
Let's do Bone Tree. IPA.
Bone Tree is next. All right, the IPA here. I'll pull that up.
Our flagship IPA.
Okay. Who wants to take the lead and tell us about this beer?
I'll run it down. So this was actually one of the first beers we ever released. It's a IPA that's all brewed with all Citra hops. We kind of went into this business thinking we're not going to be a brewery that has like a flagship beer. But just over the whole time we've been open, like every time we make it, people love it. And we love making it. It's personally my favorite beer to drink. It evolves really well. It's got a ton of fruit. It's a bit tropical, a little bit dank, nice big body. So it's a fun beer, and it's good. Every time we brew it, like I feel like we've evolved a little bit as a brewery to, just get it slightly better each time. So it's fun to see each time how much better it gets.
I was fortunate enough this Christmas to get a hold of, a whole case. My sister's from Milton, and actually her friend Luke is who got us in contact here. So I was able to try this one during Christmas, and that's when I was like, wow, that's just a really good beer. You guys have what seems almost like in some Facebook groups that I have, you guys seem to have like a cult following. What's going on there in how that's kind of played out? Because you guys obviously know that there's this following because it's everywhere. I haven't seen a Facebook beer group that I'm in yet that hasn't mentioned you guys. What's going on that aspect of things?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I think it's a combination of we are very passionate about what we do. We completely kill ourselves to come up with wacky new beers every week. We've put out new beers every week that we've been open, rain or shine, and often multiple beers. So in the not quite 2 years we've been open, we're approaching like 200 different beers. So we keep it fun. We try to do wacky stuff and keep the focus on drinkability. And when you come to our brewery, the customer service is off the charts. Like we learn your name, we want to know about you, and we talk to people and active on social media. So we really try to create that, like, we want to be everybody's favorite brewery and the one they get excited about. That was always Chris and I, what we said, like, we want to be the brewery that if we had no affiliation with Third Moon, we would get excited to go there and buy the beers. That's kind of the way we, if we're on the fence about doing something or not doing something, it's like, would we get excited about that personally? Is that what's going to get us off the couch? So I think that all of those kind of things just, lead to that rabid fan base.
We've
What?
basically we've
Go ahead.
employed every system and method and approach that we've experienced and loved in the breweries we visited around the world, and to the best of our ability. And we've barely scratched the surface on what we'd like to do. And we're just trying to. When you're passionate about something, you're just trying to do a good job. Like, you just want to make it awesome. And we found it to be a really, for the most part, an inclusive community and very supportive community, where other breweries, we prop each other up. We do collaborations all the time. And I can't think of another industry like that. Certainly not in telecom, where I came from. Bell and Rogers like partnering up to do something fun together.
Hell no.
But in this industry, that's the point of it, is to kind of help learn from each other, share information, experiences, vent a little bit about how wacky this life is, and just try to help each other, because there's enough business available in each different town for a good brewery. So let's all just help each other be the best breweries we can be. And we have seen in the last 2 years, throughout this pandemic, one of the positive things is that the bar has been raised in Ontario and Canada. I've had more better Canadian beers in the last 2 years than the rest of my life.
Chris, there's so many little jumping off points in this. Just the couple comments you guys have both made here. I'll go with collaborations, because we've seen the Great Lakes, the Blood Brothers. Tim's got one right there.
Yeah, I had that one on the weekend. Delicious, with Great Lakes, 40 Mortis, delicious beer.
So, like, how does that come about? You said it's a very tight knit community where we've had Red Barn on, buddies of ours from down Blenheim Way, who, much like you, started in the midst of a pandemic. They probably dealt with the exact same things. I'm sure there's been some conversations amongst the industry about making things work with this. How do those collaborations come together, and which brewery do you lean on when you have a question or an issue? Who do you reach to?
Bebo, you want to talk about the GLB story?
Yeah, the GLB one actually came about. That was the long play. So back in the homebrewing days, I think it was like 2016 or something, I won a best in show in a homebrewing competition. So part of that, the reward for that, or the prize, was to be able to brew a batch at GLB. So I went there. Oh, wow. And just through a random quirk of timing, it was like the only weekend that Chris couldn't make it. So we had another friend of ours come along with. We brewed an IPA, and then, to them, I was just a home brewer. But then, a handful of years later, we opened Third Moon. So I stayed, in contact with some of the folks there, Troy and Mike. And, they're like, oh, let's get together. Let's brew it again. So we basically took the core of that beer that we had brewed all them years ago as a homebrew recipe, is what became that Gordy Mortis. And then they kind of did a different version of it, kind of like more of a West Coast IPA. So I get all of them kind of have their own unique sort of origin story. Even we did a collaboration with the Milton Public Library, and that was a wild one. They had some beehives that they were harvesting honey from, and
I saw that. Yeah,
they use it in a beer, so they reached out. So yeah, it's a fun way to kind of build your network and interact with some like-minded folks.
We've had Great Lakes on. They were on season 4, episode 11 is when we had, I think it was Troy that was on with us, but that was another great conversation. And then the Blood Brothers collaboration, how did that come together?
That was, we had they were vetting out a supplier that we had used. So they reached out, and it was very early on that we opened up, and they came out, and we just kind of became friends, and they invited us to do a collab, and we've actually done a few with them now. And we, in October, went to Seattle. We did our first business trip, Chris and I. We went with the Blood Brothers gang, and we stayed in an Airbnb for a week, and it was 6 guys in one bathroom. So we're
You guys are tight.
Good friends now, yeah.
Hey, I thought we did pretty well. We also had Troy from Badlands there with
Yeah.
us. But yeah,
Oh, nice.
Badlands and Blood Brothers have been, amazing people to talk to. And the fun part is sometimes we'll bounce ideas off each other. We're not totally sure, about doing something, moving ahead with something, and we share those ideas with each other. And it's just so fun to be able to talk about it with trust and no fear of judgment. So there's a lot of collaborative things that happen in this industry. And how many collabs have we done to date? What would you say, like 40?
40 or 45?
Holy bananas!
We
Wow.
did 40 just last year. So
It's crazy.
yeah,
That is
we did
crazy.
ones with like a band. We did the library. We've done a bunch of breweries, obviously.
Guys,
Yeah.
settle down. You're setting the bar way too high in your first 2 years.
We're like,
Yeah.
so we're
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh,
Well, you got
smell that nose in there. It's so
Yes.
tropical.
Good.
We're getting huge mango now. These beers evolve so much every single day, and so it's fun to revisit them. And look at the lacing on the glass there too. This is
Delicious.
a beer made with Citra hops, which is probably the most crowd pleasing hop there will be. Like even my mom, I would pour this for her, and she's like, "Oh, this is the one I like."
yes. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And
It's a good mum beer, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but that's what my mom's the same way.
but it's so meaty and big yet approachable. So that's Bevo said. We try to
Delicious.
make things drinkable. We do a bunch of other crazy beers too. We do big stouts. We're going to drink one in a few minutes, and we do big fruited sours as well, where we add a whole bunch of fruit puree of the best quality we can find, and try some things. We swing for the fences and try to learn something, and they don't always work out, but we've had a pretty good track record so far of at least being able to enjoy them. And we're here to have fun and try to not take ourselves too seriously. There's just so much to learn, and we feel the best way to learn is to do it. So we're just doing a lot of stuff.
Where are you guys headed now? So obviously Ontario is starting to open up. We just came out of lockdown for the 15th time. What's the big plans for the spring? February into March, but really into the springtime. Where do you guys see yourself heading? What can we look forward to at Third Moon?
Well, we're really excited to be opening our tap room again. That we just got it open in December finally, and then had to close it for the lockdown in January. So we're coming out with a bang, and this Thursday through Sunday we are serving 6 bestows, and that's our Imperial Stout line. And we've got some really crazy ones, peanut butter cup. We've also got a couple barrel-aged ones. We got bourbon, apple brandy, really decadent stuff. And we just figured let's get crazy and come back from this lockdown with a killer tap list. And so the spring is about dialing in the tap room and just getting a better feel for how much beer to package, how much beer to put on draft, figure that out, and just try to, become profitable would be nice this year.
That'd be nice. Yeah. Did I catch you right there? The tap room only opened in December, so you've been obviously closed more days than you've been open. So December, is that what you said? Wow.
Yeah, we spent the first year and a half just doing, beer to go.
Oh,
we had a drive-through going around the building when we first opened, which people remember fondly. Those of our regular customers that have been there from the beginning, and so we finally had the tap room open, and that's our original starting vision, to have this whole experience where you can have beer to go, you can enjoy beer there. We can show you around when we're there, and we are still adding artwork to the walls from our awesome artist Casey, the Yard Wolves, and so it's still evolving. One of the people that works with us is my sister Melissa, and she's the handy person at the brewery, and she's building shelves right now by hand so we can do a display of every beer in order that we've
That's
brewed.
crazy.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
That'll be up in a couple of weeks, and then Casey's going to come and do some murals on the walls, and it's going to be pretty exciting. So we'll get to evolve it together, and that's what we've done with this business since the beginning, is grow it together with our customers. We could only do takeout beer when we started, and we really planned to start with just that anyways, because for us, we wanted to perfect the first thing we do, and then and only then add another layer of complexity and perfect that, and then we just didn't want to bite off more than we could chew. So the wonderful part for us was that we didn't have to change a business model. We were already going to do what we set out to do anyways. So
That's wild. That's wild.
yeah, so that worked out for us for sure.
For sure. Bebo, I'm going to throw it back to you. Let's get into number 3 here. I've already cracked it open. I haven't poured it. Well, I just poured a little bit yet.
So so on the subject of collaborations, this is a unique collaboration. So Wood Brothers Brewing in all the way eastern Ontario, almost touching the border of Quebec, is the #1 rated brewery in Ontario on Untapped, and in our hearts, because we love those guys. So we wanted to do a collaboration with them, but we wanted to do. I was during a lockdown, and it just didn't feel like, we couldn't go there, and we didn't want to really do a virtual collaboration. So actually, Mark, the owner of Wood Brothers, came with this interesting idea. Let's do a recipe swap.
Oh.
So you'll notice this, the label looks vastly different than any of ours.
Right.
So basically, we gave them one of our recipes, and they gave us one of theirs, and we brewed each other's beers, and our labels look like each other. So we call it the Take It to the Grave recipe swap. So this is the third version of that. So this is our version of Wood Brothers beer. So this is Twice the Mud Pastry Stout. It's a imperial stout with cocoa nibs, peanut butter, Madagascar vanilla, and like a half of a Walmart's worth of vanilla wafer cookie.
That's tasty. It's so delicious.
Yeah.
This is
good.
like
And
nightcap.
again, thank you. And again, we're trying to have an element of drinkability. And so when you read the description on this, you're expecting a big, sweet, sticky mess, but it's pretty drinkable. Like
It's very
it's
drinkable.
not
I think
cloying.
what scares me sometimes is you see that 9.5%, and you're like, oh boy, this is going to be boozy out the door. But it's like, it's got every flavor that you've just mentioned there on every sip, and it's just delicious. That's
Thank
like, I feel like I need some vanilla ice cream though. Like I feel like that's
That's a nice mix. That's a collaboration right there.
Oh, make
like
it
that
float.
would just be a nice spoonful of vanilla ice cream after that drink.
Just throw it right in.
That's so tasty, man. You mentioned the #1 rated brewery in Ontario. You guys are right up there, right? And I think that's I saw when I was trying to put together some beers at Christmas time. Wood Brothers was one that I wanted to get my hands on but couldn't. Shipping was kind of an issue to get for you guys. There's some other breweries out there. So these smaller breweries that people are trying to get their hands on seem to be a little bit difficult right now, and I guess that's just pandemic based. Like, what's the plan now to get this beer in other people's hands if they're not in Milton? Like, how can I get this in my? You guys shipped it to us, so we appreciate that. But how could other people get this in their hands?
We do have shipping. So really, if you're not able to get to our place in Milton, there's two ways. We have a pretty vast array of bottle shops throughout the province that will carry our beer. So that's something that interesting that came out of the pandemic was these small independent bottle shops that were able to carry non-LCBO beer from small producers like us. So we got them from, east to west, north and south. We're kind of sporadically all over. And we do offer shipping. So on Sundays, we enable it. We call it Sunday Fun Day. So we go on our website on Sundays. You could select a shipping option. We'll ship it anywhere in Ontario.
And
Sunday
at the bottom
Fun
of our homepage, you'll find a list by town or city of all the bottle shops and
Oh, there
bars.
you go.
I love this.
Thirdmoonbrewing.com. Sorry, Tim. Go ahead, buddy.
No, I love the concept of the bottle shops. We don't have one in our area yet, and I think it's something that's definitely lacking, or it's just not one in where we're at. But like, it's pretty cool because again, I follow lots of bottle shops, and I'm like, oh man, they've got all this awesome stuff. So if you're in the Chatham-Kent area and you're looking to get into beer, I suggest opening a bottle shop just so Cloudy and I can stop by and get these beers. What's the next big thing for 2022? It seems like there's been some patterns for most of the breweries. They have this style, then everyone kind of jumps on board. Then the next one, everyone jumps on board. What is the up and coming style for 2022, or up and coming beer that you think is going to hit us, be all the rage?
That's a good question. I'm going to guess quadruple IPA.
Quadruple. Oh, buddy.
Quadruple, buddy.
That scares me a bit. All right.
I hope it's a stout, to be honest, because we've got a lot of ideas for fun stouts, and so we just can't even get to all of them. So we're just gonna keep them coming, and we're the kind of people that enjoy stouts year round. So it's always the right season for a good stout. But I personally feel like a year or two ago in Canada or Ontario, the majority of the stouts you find are straight up with no adjuncts, no extra flavors added or ingredients. And now it's flipped completely. So I secretly wouldn't mind having some more straight up stouts. But the ones that people are doing to add flavors into them are just getting crazier and crazier. Like, you can't just have one flavor. Like, this beer we're drinking, you got to have 4 different flavors. You got to have peanut butter. What else you got? We got some vanilla.
Love it.
And let's do some cookies in there. And just what else can you come up with? That's just silly.
That's wild. Where do we find Third Moon Brewing online? Obviously, thirdmoonbrewing.com is where we're going to find you online. But if we were to stop by in Milton, if we get on a road trip, where do we find you? Where are you guys located?
Well, I'd also mention you can watch us unveil the new beers we're going to release every Thursday at noon.
Oh, nice.
On Instagram or Facebook, Third Moon Beer. And so we do that usually Wednesday, Thursday mornings, get y'all excited for the big release Thursday at noon, so that you can, have something to look forward to for the weekend is really what we're trying to do.
Love it.
Physically, we're just off the 401 in Milton, 295 Alliance Road, units 2 and 3, and just pop it in your GPS. It's
nice.
It's not, it's industrial area because that's what you have to be to brew the beer. And but just come on inside.
Get it.
Love
Chris
it.
and Bebo from Third Moon Brewing. Guys, thanks so much for talking to us tonight. Thanks for sending those beers along. Crushable, every one of them. We appreciate it. We'll help you trying some more again sometime soon.
Our pleasure. Thanks so much for having us. Cheers,
Thanks,
guys.
Appreciate
Cheers,
it.
fellas. Chris and Bebo from Third Moon Brewing on the podcast here tonight. Cheers. Thank you very much, fellas. That was pretty sweet.
So delicious, eh, Cloudy?
Yeah. What did you finish that, or are you just sipping that?
I didn't pour the whole can out, dude. You didn't have to pour the whole can out, eh? That's not how tastings work, Cloudy. It's not the whole can. If you're drinking that whole can of the pastry stout right now,
buddy,
you'll be nighty-night time.
Nighty-night. No, that's good stuff. Thirdmoonbrewing.com is the website. I love hearing from these. Like we've talked to Denny a bunch of time from Red Barn, and anything we can do to just get that word out there that there's these. There's been so much shop local and get out to your local restaurants and get out to your local stores, blah, blah, blah. But let's not forget your breweries that, places like this that started in May of 2020 in the midst of a worldwide pandemic.
Yeah. Isn't it great, Cloudy? How many brewers have we had on, and everyone has talked about the collaboration, the cooperation, the sharing of information. And like you said, that doesn't happen in many other businesses, and it happens all the time. And I think that's one of the reasons we love doing this and talking to these breweries, because it's always a good story. It's always a feel-good thing when they talk about, getting along with one another and stuff like that. Look forward to visiting my sister now. She's probably going to send me a text to say, come.
Blew my mind that you had a sister. I didn't even know. So it was a big story. Big breaking story for me. I didn't know
Breaking news.
that.
I've got a sister that lives in Milton. I'll be stopping by soon.
All right. Thanks, Chris and Biba. We do appreciate that. All right, Tim, a couple other things going on in the world. I wanted to talk about this. This is breaking news here today. And, not breaking news today because it was confirmed that Tom Brady has officially retired. Right. He released this afternoon on his social media, retiring after how many seasons? 22 seasons?
22, I think. Yeah.
Crazy.
He's pretty good. Not a fan, but what?
This is the thing, Tim. Okay, so I started thinking about this today on my walk. Okay, I was thinking, I'm not a Tom Brady fan, but give it 20 years. 20 years from now, we're gonna be like, damn, Tom Brady was the man in the midst of our like in our biggest sports watching window,
right?
From like early 20s to whatever age we're at right now.
I think we don't want to recognize it, right? Because we're like, I don't like Tom Brady, but again, it'll be the one you're telling your grandkids, like, man, I watched Tom Brady. That guy was from Michigan. I hate Michigan, but other than that, he's pretty good at stuff. You know what I love is how this broke though. It's like he's retiring. No, he's not. He's retiring. Yes, he is, because he wanted to do it his way, which is probably fair, buddy.
He was supposed to make $50 million this weekend if he was still on the active player roster.
How much?
He would have $15 million.
What?
$15 million. If somebody told me I had to show up on Saturday to make $15, I am there.
Where do I sign up?
Exactly. See, my thing is I don't not like the guy. I just he's wallpaper for me, and I can't stand him because he beats my team. But when somebody is so good at something, we tend to start to hate them. Like it doesn't matter who it is. We'll find something like, hey, stupid guy, like this cheater.
Sure.
Yeah, doesn't matter who you are. You don't ever want to be the best. You kind of want to be in the upper echelon and just be like in the background. As soon as you're the best, winning 7 Super Bowls, he went to 10 of them overall. He won 5 MVPs at the Super Bowl, 3 MVPs in the league. Like, as soon as you're up there, people are like going to pick you apart, right?
I've kind of emulated my career after that. You know, you didn't want to be at the top. You just want to just be just below. That's where I've always wanted to stay, because I never wanted to make that have to go right to the top and deal with all that other stuff, right? Yeah. So I've always just been like middle of the pack kind of guy.
And let's be honest, okay? So you don't like Michigan, whatever. But like, did anybody think this guy was going to get that girl? Like, let's be honest. Look at that guy.
What a great pick all around. One, I like the duct tape square that he's like, okay, you're going out in your underwear, find the duct tape square.
He looks
just
like a cat.
Stand there. Is his arms too long for his body? Or
yeah, I think that's what gave it away. Patriots like, dude, look at the size of those arms.
Look at that.
He looks like his mom took him to Sears and told him to try boxers on. And then he had to come out of the dressing room.
Hey, hi, Mom.
Light around on the crotch, Tom.
Look how terrible. And
look at that guy.
Like the combine these days is like such a spectacle. This dude just comes out of the combine in his underwear, stands in a square, and gets his picture taken. Everyone has to look at that forever.
All right, Tim, we're getting pictures done. We're getting pictures done like that. That'll be our promo pictures. Both.
One?
Well, one or the other.
One is you, one's me.
Yeah,
that's good.
Do you think? Okay, let's say Tom Brady had no wife or not Giselle. Do you think he's retiring, or do you think like, I might stick around a little longer? I think he's like, well, I could retire and hang out with Giselle for a couple hours, like more a day.
Right.
And it's not like he's losing any money, right?
I'm pretty sure he could find the love of his life anytime, buddy.
That's true. That's true. But Giselle, like, she's the richest supermodel in the world too, right? So come on.
Is that what she does? I was wondering by that.
If Giselle said, stop getting hit in the head, we don't want concussion issues. Tom's like, okay, yeah, cool.
Right.
I'll be home.
Yeah, good call.
Be home at 3, no problem.
All
right, Tim. Season 7, episode 4. It's live here on Tuesday, February 1st. You might be listening to this. You might be watching back to it at a different time. But tomorrow morning is Groundhog Day. So Wyerton Willie
Oh, buddy.
will make his
What is-
prognostication tomorrow.
I really had to look
Odd
closely
shaped,
at this
yeah.
picture that you just put up there.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what that was.
Have you ever been to Wyerton?
No. You?
So I drove through it a couple times, and they have they had a little. So Wyerton originally was owned by a guy who owned a motel, and he had 3 Wyertons that basically lived out front, and you can go see them. Somebody else bought the motel, so he donated the groundhogs to the city. There's a whole story, so let's get into it. So here's Wyerton. Let's pull him up there.
Is this the
there's the
original?
albino. Well, they've been through a bunch. This is the thing, okay? So Wyerton Willie is not the actual Wyerton this year, because the Wyerton that had been for the last few years actually died. So tomorrow morning he'll be pulled out. 8:07 a.m. is when they decide. He decides if he sees a shadow, blah, 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 blah. So Wyerton died actually late in 2020 from a tooth abscess. He just died. So, okay, well, what happened February 2nd, 2021, you ask?
Right.
So the mayor, this is a conspiracy. Basically, and last year they did it virtually.
Virtually, yeah. Did they hold up a dead Wyerton Willie?
No, she threw a fur hat up in the air to kind of distract, and then said, Wyerton says, blah, 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 whatever his prognostication was. Yeah.
The classic distraction.
Bingo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love that.
So it wasn't until November of 2021 where they announced, Wyerton's dead.
Sorry. He's
Holy
dead.
shit. Yeah, Wyerton's dead. So this year, tomorrow, will be a brown groundhog, because this is an albino. You can't just buy those on auction. So they're going to go with the brown backup groundhog.
Okay.
So they don't have a
This
fit.
is
So
Wyerton Willie number 2.
Wyerton Willie number 7 or 8, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They've been keeping this going for a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I got another story, another Wyerton story. So I'll read right here from the article. In 1999, when the handler went to check on Willie ahead of Groundhog Day, there have been many Willies over the years. The rodent was frozen solid.
What? Where'd they keep him?
He was in his rodent pen. The town's other albino groundhog had died the previous September, so they didn't have a backup with just a week to go before Groundhog Day. The Groundhog Committee then decided to hold a funeral in place of its usual prognostication ceremony. Do you remember this in 99?
Good play. No,
but they didn't tell anybody until February 2nd. They're like, hey, FYI, we're just having a funeral.
Really?
So, yeah, they decided to hold a funeral in place of the prognostication ceremony using a white groundhog that had been stuffed years earlier. The handler said the Willie that had died was not fit for the public at that time. The smell was something you wouldn't want to be near. It would have been a closed casket funeral.
What? Did it blow up?
Yeah, it had a bit of a smell. So the stuffed rodent was unveiled Groundhog Day 1999 in a casket to the surprise of the crowd. Children bawled, and the news went international. To this day, the handler keeps it in his coffin. In a coffin.
The stuffed one.
That's 99. There's more.
Holy.
So the handler sold the motel in 2001, and the 3 young albino groundhogs went to the new owner, who then turned them over to the town. The town built a new enclosure for the 3 groundhogs, along with a tunnel that was structured like a P-trap that you'd find underneath your sink that connected the inside to the outside. This is the setup I had seen when I'd visited Wyerton years ago. The guy says, I shouldn't talk about this, but no matter. By the time September comes around, they only seen 1 groundhog. Nobody knew that 2 were dead.
What?
He added that the dead groundhogs were found in the P-trap tunnel, which had filled with water when the snow melted or it rained.
Come on.
When they put in the tunnel from the inside to the outside, if they didn't vent it, it became a P-trap. The groundhogs went in there, fell asleep, and drowned. The town did not respond to questions about the deaths of these groundhogs. This is not the first time Willie has died. There's been many versions of Willie. And this time, they finally came out in November and said, hey, Willie's dead. We're going to have a new Willie. In the past, they had a funeral. One year, they went to dig him out. He was stuck in a P-trap. They pulled out 2 dead rodents from the P-trap.
What is going on here?
Yeah.
Did you check the... You check the comments there, too? There's... I think a local connection here once saved Wyerton Willie.
Tell me more.
I didn't catch that. Might have to do some fact checking here. Apparently, Nicole Green
buddy.
Quigley saved Wyerton Willie once because he escaped from his pen in the summer of '92. I fact check this one, buddy. We're gonna have to talk to Quigs.
We'll find out. Okay, we need to know more.
This is a wicked tale of Wyerton Willie.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of twists and turns to Willie.
Okay.
So I just wanted to make you aware. So tomorrow, like, first of all, the year this is a big deal when it's a normal year and you can have people there. They have a Wyerton Willie festival. They have rides. They have people out. We at Wyerton.
Is it back on? Is it on this year or no?
No, it's virtual this year.
Virtual.
So
Jeez.
everybody showed up, and then they said,
Here's your dad.
Willie's dead. It's now a funeral. Could you imagine the kids bawling?
I love the open the casket, pull out Willie. Like, he's not moving.
He didn't see a shadow or anything.
He can't see anything. He's
The poor
dead.
kid in the front
All
row
the children.
who's lived his entire life in Bruce County, looking forward to like being there.
Yeah.
They take schools out and they go to the Wyerton Willie.
They probably have like pancake breakfasts and everything going on.
Yeah.
Parade, and then here's a dead groundhog. Oh, that's crushing. So obviously tomorrow I'm gonna see its shadow. No, not seeing its shadow tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow's a brown groundhog.
And not seeing its shadow, right? Blizzard of 2022 is hitting.
That's true.
So what's that mean? You don't see the shadow?
Spring's near. I don't know. Another lockdown or something. I don't know. Hell if I know.
Virtual 2020. Hell if I know. Sig's all a crock anyway.
I did all that research. That's all I got. I didn't figure out what the background was.
You did all the research and you don't know what happens if the groundhog sees the shadow?
I don't know. I was just more surprised they pulled out a stuffed one. And then last year she pulled out and she threw it like
pulled out a groundhog from behind someone's ear. Like,
common distraction.
Look what I found. That's amazing.
If this week's episode doesn't get flagged by the town of Wyerton, then we have done something completely wrong.
We should get them to sponsor us for next year's Wyerton Willie's Festival. We should go.
Does Wyerton have a brewery?
Fact checkers?
Another fact checker we will dig into.
We need to get someone sitting beside us that can fact check things for us.
Oh, I love that idea.
Can we do that?
Sure. Does anybody want to?
Yeah, Wyerton Willie. Wyerton Brewery. I gotta get some fact
right. Give us that before we wrap up here tonight. I did have a net worth game, Tim. I'm going to save for next week. We'll cover that. Okay, we'll do a net worth game next week on episode number 5 of the 3BeerPod. I'll put that aside in my file. Okay,
slide that to the side. I got nothing. Big blizzard coming tonight, Cloudy. Buckle in, buddy.
All right, fella. Make sure you're stocked up. All right.
I should have saved this one for the blizzard. This is delicious, by the way.
Yeah.
What's the mud? That's you can order that Sunday Fun Day. Do it. It's delicious.
Third Moon. Thanks, Chris and Bebo, for chatting with us here tonight. Timmer, thanks, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.